Hi, I am ThatPaulGuy, and it's Thursday. Thursday, March 19th, 2020, and we're going to start off, I guess you could call it a little bit of a public service announcement. Look, we all know what's going on by now. We all know that we are facing a conundrum, and YouTube doesn't like it when you call it by name or you print it, so I'm not going to do that. We're all well aware of what we're facing right now. Just please, everybody, use common sense, decency, be polite to each other, keep your distance, make sure you're using good hygiene, wash your hands, stuff like that. Let's not panic. Let's all get through this together, okay? So with that being said, I realize that some families aren't used to having their kids home right now, so they're buying a lot of stuff at the grocery store or they're buying extra supplies. But remember the other people, okay? So let's not buy 20 cases of toilet paper and panic everybody else because they can't find anything for their own hygiene, okay? Let's be cool about it. Remind everybody, last Thursday, boom, just in case you missed it. Anyway, we're going to start off with space news, like we always do. One fairly quick story this week in space news, and that is from our good friends at SpaceX. They, again, put up another 60 satellites from the Starlink internet project that Elon Musk is developing. It's broadband internet that eventually, when he has enough satellites up there, will be able to cover the entire globe with enough satellites to be able to handle broadband communications wirelessly or by satellite, so you don't have to have a terrestrial connection, I guess you could call it. That in itself is a pretty cool thing. These launches are getting to be pretty regularly now. The booster itself has been sent up for a record 5th time. The 5th time for this booster. The cowling is the 2nd time the cowling has been used. Obviously, it's the first time that these 60 satellites have gone up. So that's not really a record there, but that's not the real reason behind this story. The reason behind this story is because when they did the countdown and they said launch, it sat there. And so they had to go back and say, all right, wait a minute, abort launch. What had happened is when it geared up for the thrusters to be able to launch off the pad, everything else was operational. Everything else had seemed to be okay. It had already passed a pre-flight engine test a day or two before that. Countdown went to 0. They said launch, and there was a fault found in one of the Merlin engines, and so everything shut down just like it was supposed to. This went off without a hitch. There was an abort situation, and the whole thing shut down. Rocket didn't move off the pad at all, not one iota. So a lot of man hours were saved. Hundreds of thousands of dollars were saved. Of course, the rocket booster was saved. Elon Musk did say that they're going to have to do an investigation to find out why this happened, especially because it did pass an engine test just a few days before that, a pre-flight test. So, but the good thing is, it worked like it was supposed to. So we do know that some of these things are going on. Some of these things work like they're supposed to. And when they don't work like they're supposed to, they shut completely down and there's no damage, no hurt and all that stuff. And so that's got to make everybody feel pretty good too. Incidentally, I'm not going to leave a source for it yet because I haven't confirmed it, but I did see in one of my news feeds today, it didn't get a chance to confirm, like I said, that it looks like SpaceX is going to be sending astronauts up to the ISS as early as May. We will see what happens with the conundrum, if that puts anything back, but May looks like a pretty good time frame. So moving on to tech news, with the worldwide shutdown as we have it, it has become necessary for us to adjust the way we're doing things. Things like delivery drivers and stuff like that are becoming the norm in some places, where in other places it's very, very difficult to even get people to deliver things. Well, come to the rescue an autonomous vehicle company called Neolix. They actually have a set of small vans that are autonomous, and they are effectively being used now in some parts of China to be able to deliver, say, orders like from Alibaba and JD.com, and also medical supplies and stuff like that to areas that are heavily infected that somebody might not be able to get into. Now, this company has been around for a little while, not a long time, but I believe they started in last May. They had up to this point, beginning of the year, I think they had about 150 orders total. They've already had 200 since the conundrum. So they look to be able to sell or produce or put into effect 1,000 vehicles just this year, which would be a great help. So out of necessity, comes another technological, I guess you could say marvel, but sometimes when necessity happens, things happen for a good reason, and this company happens to be at the right place at the right time, and so thank you, Neelix, and maybe we can get something going there. You never know. You know, I hear Domino's is delivering pizzas autonomously in some parts of the country here. So if they can deliver, you know, Domino's pizza, maybe there's hope that we can deliver other things as well. In gaming news, both the Xbox and the PlayStation have announced specs for the brand new consoles. Xbox did it a couple days ago. PlayStation did it like a day or a day and a half after that. There are some similarities. I did a video on this a while back of what we knew so far. A lot of these are coming to fruition. We do know that it's going to have the new AMD Zen 2 processor in it. We do know that it's going to have the new RDNA architecture for the video. We do know that they're going to have solid state hard drives in them, so that they will speed up and be much, much quicker. We do know that both systems are going to have 4K Blu-ray. They're going to have at least 60 frames per second, possibly up to as much as 120 frames per second. But that's where the similarities start to differ a little bit. Microsoft's version, the Xbox Series X, will have a 1 terabyte SSD hard drive, NVMe, which is the one that actually plugs into the motherboard and operates off the PCI off of the motherboard itself. While PlayStation is opting for, I believe it's 162 gigabyte, just a little bit smaller. It may be due to the part that they're using part of it for the operating system, who knows. That part is supposed to be a little bit quicker on PlayStation's end. Everything else is supposed to be quicker on Xbox's end. You're going to have a faster processing speed, you're going to have a faster graphics processor, and you're going to have a graphics processor on the Xbox that is going to handle 12 teraflops of instructions. That's a lot, folks, as opposed to PlayStation's 10.8, I believe it is. So that doesn't sound like a whole lot, but you know, 12 to 10.8. But when you're talking about over a long period of time or heavy gaming or something like that, it might. Which means that some PlayStation optimized games or some PlayStation exclusive games might not run quite as well as if they had been built for the Xbox X, Series X. We'll just have to see how that works out as well. I'm going to go ahead and leave a couple of links so you guys can look at the specs yourselves from Xbox's website and from PlayStation's website. The projected cost of the PlayStation is going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of about $500. The Xbox, they haven't really priced yet. Theory is, or our thoughts might be that they are thinking about the same kind of price range, but they've been burned before. So they might drop this down and try to beat out PlayStation, have a slightly better product at a slightly better price. So I would not be surprised to see this come out at $479 or $449 or something like that. We're going to have to wait till November or so to find out. But it does look like, even though the conundrum is happening, these might still come out around the holiday season and on time. Like I said, I'm going to leave links to it. I might do a video, I don't know. I did a video before that was what we knew so far, but now all the specs are out, so everybody should be able to find it pretty easily. Also in game-related stuff, companies like Netflix and some other folks have halted productions on some of their live-action shows. One in particular, Netflix, has actually halted the production on The Witcher. We're going to have to wait for season 2. I was heartbroken when I found out season 1 only had 8 episodes. Season 2, we're going to have to wait even longer because they have now shut down and said we're not going to film right now. And there have been other TV shows, movies, and stuff like that that have either stopped production, they have pushed things back, they have stopped or pushed back the release of something so that you don't have large crowds going to see a blockbuster movie or TV show. And then we also have to think about, not only are we thinking about sports and stuff like that that have been shut down, which obviously is unrelated to this channel, but you're also talking about other things like reality TV shows that might have to be postponed or shut down or skip a season or something. So we're going to look to see more and more of these. Disney has talked about halting some of the production on some of their stuff. They've pushed back. Things like Mulan got pushed back. So nobody's immune to this. We just have to all cooperate and do this together. And a big advantage in the tech community, in the gaming community, is a lot of times IT people, computer programmers, testers, and stuff like that can work remotely or in smaller groups, even if they are on site. So we might not see much of a delay in video games or in some aspects of that are coming out, or software upgrades or something like that. But we are probably going to see it just about everywhere else in tech. And then finally, and you're kidding, right? You find yourself running short on toilet paper? Maybe you happen to be in Minnesota? Well, if you are, then the Cambridge Bar and Grill has you covered. The Cambridge Bar and Grill, obviously in Cambridge, Minnesota, has decided that for the foreseeable future, maybe until supplies start to run out or until this the conundrum is averted, that they're going to give out a free roll of toilet paper for all takeout orders over $25. Now, the owner is not trying to make light of the situation. He just wants to, first do a public service because it's hard to find right now in a lot of places, and kind of put a smile on everybody's face. So I'm going to leave a link to that story as well. I just thought that was one of those strange but trues. And, so hey, it is what it is. Like I said, if we all just try to work toward one goal, we can get all this out of here and we can be back to normal. It could be 2 weeks, it could be 6 weeks, who knows? But until that, let's just all get together and work on this, okay? So that being said, remember, folks, you can always share, subscribe, thumbs up, thumbs down, leave me any kind of comments. What do you think about takeout orders of over $25 coming for the free roll of toilet paper? Is it worth the trip to Minnesota, even though travel restrictions are on? Anyway, that's all I got for this week, folks. So until probably later this weekend when I try to do some other stuff, I'll see you later.